I'm not claiming to be an expert in 30s family law, but who gave this man custody of this child? The Champ is a 1931 film directed by King Vidor, starring Wallace Beery as the washed-up alcoholic heavyweight The Champ, and Jackie Cooper as his son Dink. We first meet the pair in the middle of a training session that establishes really well the rapport and affection that these two have for one another.
Want me to carry you?
No, what do you think I am, a sissy?
Say, Dink, if them promoters get me that fight, I'm going to buy you a horse.
Gee, a real horse?
Certainly. What do you think it is, a wooden horse?
Even if that didn't translate to real life. The Champ is trying to make a comeback in the world of boxing and has a meeting with some promoters later that night. So when he heads out after his workout, Dink begs his father to stay sober, but of course, he doesn't and ends up blowing the opportunity. The next day, the Champ tries to make it up to his son and, due to some luck gambling, buys him a horse. And by chance, at the horse's first race, Dink stumbles into an interaction with the mother he didn't know he had, Linda, who has since remarried a wealthy man named Tony.
I really am your mother. Cross my heart.
Linda wants to develop a relationship with Dink, and more than that, she wants for him to live with her and Tony because they would be able to provide a better life for him.
Oh, Tony, we can't let that baby stay in that atmosphere another minute now that we've found him. Oh, I'll never forgive myself. Oh, we've got to get him away from it, Tony, we've got to.
But Dink has no interest, and the Champ doesn't want to part with the boy either. It's not until, after a night of gambling, the Champ bets away Dink's horse and then eventually gets into a bar fight that lands him in jail. The Champ realizes that Dink would be better off without him and sends him off to live with Linda and Tony.
You're going to stay with her, and I'm not going to have any more back talk from you now, that's all.
No, sir, Champ, I ain't gonna go. I'm telling you, I ain't gonna go.
You're going to go. You're going to your mother's now.
Where he promptly escapes and makes his way back to the Champ. And that does it. The Champ gets his life together for his son and gets back in the ring and wins the championship, and he dies. Oh, man. And finally, a distraught Dink is carried away by his mother, Linda. I really like The Champ, even though almost 100 years later, it's a formula in sports movies that we've seen many times before. Today, you might call it Oscar bait because it's pretty obvious and at times can be overly saccharine, but I think it has enough levity to keep it from ever veering into melodrama. I found it really charming, largely due to the strength of the performances of Beery and Cooper. Whether he was in real life or not, Beery has the presence of a lovable oaf, a guy that can't get his life together, but you don't really blame him for it. And Cooper really makes you feel the adoration that Dink has for his father, believing in him when no one else does, in only the way a literal child can.
You've done swell, Champ, ain't he, Jonah?
What keeps this from being a great film instead of just a charming one is the movie's inability to reckon with the reality of what the Champ is like as a father. He's not down on his luck doing everything he can to take care of his son. This isn't the pursuit of happiness. He's neglectful and selfish and parentifying Dink. Early on in the film, we see Dink getting his father ready for bed, while the Champ is in a drunken stupor. Dink acts like a parent would trying to get their toddler to sleep. Then, feeling hungover and guilty, he goes and gambles the little money they do have. And what's maybe even worse, he wins, and instead of using that money responsibly, he buys Dink a horse. This is not a stable situation for a child. It's probably a pretty scary situation for a kid, at least some of the time, no matter how much fun the two of them have together or how much they love each other. They're not just down on their luck and all they have is one another. The Champ is self-destructing for most of the film and taking his kid down with him, and I don't think the film really addresses that, except for maybe in the ending. With the death of the Champ and Dink being carried off by Linda, the film shows us that the Champ has atoned for his sins and given Dink one final memory of his father, his hero, at his greatest, while simultaneously sacrificing himself so that Dink could live the best life possible.
Ain't you proud of your old man now?
Oh, gee, Champ, I always was.
And you know what? I'm thinking this now, and I like it. The ending didn't sit well with me at first, with the Champ dying and Dink being carried off by this woman he didn't really want to go with, while triumphant music plays. I was asking myself, are we happy about this? But thinking of it more as the Champ, a man who knew he wasn't going to be able to sustain this reformation, sacrificing himself for the sake of his son, is good, I think. Now, here's some random things I thought were ridiculous. That these two people were ever in a relationship together, let alone had a child together. The idea that Wallace Beery could ever beat this man in a boxing match. How much is a horse? How is he going to pay to feed and take care of it? People were just out here buying racehorses in 1931. But overall, I really enjoyed the film, and if you really enjoyed this video, you can watch me talk about some more films from 1931, or see how I rank the films I watched from 1930. Thanks for watching, and go watch something old other than me.